Namaste and welcome everyone to our very first episode. This is Mastering the Laws of Manifestation. And my name is Ali and this is my mentor, Sanjeev Ji. He's a master of yogic meditation, everybody. I know that personally because he has taught me the art and I thank him till this day for everything that you've taught me. Sanjeev Ji, the whole point, of course, that you have made this podcast and what we're presenting to you is because we all know about the law of attraction, the law of manifestation, right? But the thing is that many of us, we have maybe learned a lot about it, right? But have we truly been able to implement it in our lives and what it truly does for us? Have we truly been able to, strategically place those methods in our life to get the goals that it offers and the power that it offers, right? Like it sounds so good on paper. So what Sanjeev Ji is going to offer us is some valuable insight based on yogic principles that he's learned over 4 decades now, right? And Sanjeev Ji, with the breadth of experience you have, let's start off with our first question. I was thinking we'll go with the Q&A style approach, right? So I'll ask you a question that I've gathered actually all these questions, for our listeners and viewers, just so everybody, I figured that you guys would really benefit from these questions. So hopefully you like them, okay? Sanjeev Ji, let's start off with question number 1, okay? Awesome. Sanjeev Ji, why is it that many people out there, they've read up on law of attraction. Many of us are well learned on it. We've read books on it. We've sort of seen YouTube motivational videos on it and all that stuff. But why is it that for some reason we're not able to implement this change in our life? Like we're not able, like some people, they either stop due to the results, they're not getting the results, or they lose faith in the practice that they originally are supposed to have in the first place, right? So, well, what is it and what is that lack of faith and why is it that this happens to people, Sanjeev Ji?
That's a great question to start with. And I will begin answering this question using an analogy. And say, for example, somebody wants to be an electronics engineer. Reading a few books alone is not going to make somebody an electronic engineer. You have to get the proper guidance from a certified person who can really teach you the principles of electronics.
That's why, and these questions that wasn't even part of the questions that I wrote for you guys. That was just one that came up because see, he'll give you an answer and then you have a question from that answer. It's an endless loop, right, Sanjeev Ji?
That's how it works.
It's infinite.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Sanjeev Ji, once again, that was beautiful insight. The second question that I had for you, what are the law of manifestation's main principles? Like, as in the law of attraction and manifestation, I should say. What are, in a nutshell, what are the main principles? Like, if you could give us like some pillars, fundamentals.
Another great question. And with your first question, you already started with the first pillar.
Right.
And that is removing the old belief systems of failure or any other thing that we don't want in our life. That's the first. And now, after we have done that, then the second come is, what do you actually want? Mm-hmm. Means your goals.
Yeah.
The definition of goals, and setting the goals is also a whole process that you have to implement it through its entirety with the right kind of principles for goal setting. Because if you don't do that, you will not be able to achieve the goals. If you do not understand what you want clearly in your mind, how will you ask the universe, hey, I want to attract this in my life, I want to manifest this in my life? The universe would say, you're confused, I am confused. I don't want to listen to you anymore.
And a lot of people are intimidated by this question. Like they say, so you ask somebody, what do you want? What is going to be the first response?
I've worked with so many people,
right.
And they answer, oh yes, I truly know what I want. I want good health, I want happiness, I want a good job, good profession, good family. And I said, good luck.
It's all vague. It's like that. You want to. There's a great example you gave me about a GPS. And I think we covered it in one of our other episodes.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Elaborate on that briefly. That moment in that episode.
Yeah. So Ali, when the first time you came to my home, you know, you got in your car, you turned the GPS on and you put my address and came here. But instead, what if you had just put in the GPS Sanjeev's house? Would the GPS be able to bring you to my house?
No, too vague.
No. So you had to put the proper address, the name of the house, the name of the street, the proper city,
Yeah.
and everything, and the proper country also. Similarly, again, if I want to attract something in my life, I must know what I want to attract.
Exactly.
I must put the right address in the GPS of my mind, in my conscious and subconscious mind, so that the universe knows that what this person wants truly.
Isn't that beautiful? That one right there blew me away. Like that one was. I love that example, Sanjeev.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you know, in regards to the goals that you're talking about, a lot of times, especially with the youth, we're getting sidetracked very easily, especially with all the stimuli going on. You know, our phones, and, laptops, and we have like screen on screen on screen on screen, right? How can we, first of all, how can we develop that instinct of like, we know that this is not in line with my goals? How can we all make sure that we don't get sidetracked? How can we develop that instinct? And how can we make sure we don't get sidetracked? That's the question.
I will answer you this question with another analogy. When you were first learning how to drive, you will be asking, how do I make sure that if somebody comes in front of me, I press the brakes? How do I understand that if somebody comes, I need to change the lanes? And then also, how do I make sure that I don't drift into the other lanes? And how do you learn that? By practice in the right direction. And then you need the right guidance. Because it never happened that the first time you started driving, Ali got to the car by himself and just let it rip on the road.
No.
You needed somebody, an
That would have been
expert.
catastrophic.
Yeah, absolutely. You had some expert sitting right next to you, holding your hand and maybe having a dual control, like the trainers that the driver trainers have. And then you kind of go with them, learn the rules, then practice, and one day you master it.
Right.
Same thing in this way also. When you feel that you're getting distracted, that means you're not having the proper guidance, you're not having the proper tools, and you are perhaps not in the right direction either.
And how can we know if we're already we're already heading in a specific direction? How can we know whether it's the right direction for us or not? Like, I believe personally something to do with how we're feeling about it. Am I on the right track?
That's another good question. And that is a part of goal setting. Say I set up a goal, right? And that, say for example, I want to have this business to be successful. And to know whether I am on the right path or not, when I am setting that big goal of a success, I must also set smaller step goals in between.
Mm-hmm.
And as you, like landmarks.
Yeah.
So if you're hitting that landmark and you set time also,
Mm-hmm.
that within 3 months I want to hit this landmark, another 6 months I want to hit this landmark.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not hitting those landmarks, the smaller landmarks, you can know that you're not on the right track. Because again, a bigger goal versus smaller goals in between,
Right.
leading you to that one big goal. So this is one of the ways. And then there are other ways which when I'm working with people, I help them, guide them, how to kind of set these landmarks, how to set those bigger goals, and other principles of goal setting also.
Wow, yeah, and you did that with me.
Yeah.
Right? And it leads actually, it's perfect that you were saying that, because look, many of us, when we think of our goals, we're dreaming big. But how important is it to have those small goals taken care of, or being able to, you can show yourself that you're able to walk before you can run, right? And that leads up to my next question. Like, how important is it for us to make sure that we're sticking to the small goals and mastering that art first before we move on to the big fish? The high hanging fruit, as you say.
So, one of the things that we just covered in the last question is the same, that smaller landmarks, easier to know, understand whether I'm hitting them or not. Second is, if I'm kind of working on, say, small little things, goals, it builds up my confidence.
Mhm.
It gives me trust. The way, like, it's a new belief system.
Mhm.
Before, I had more trust in failures.
Mhm.
Before I started anything, oh, I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail.
Mhm.
Hey, you know what? I had this success, I had that success, and now I'm gonna have a little bigger success and a bigger success.
Mhm.
And you do it a few times, and your confidence grows up to a level where you are able to take any challenge, any big goal, and then just create miracles in life.
It's such common sense, but like it feels like many of us may actually be lacking that only because isn't it so funny, Sanjeev ji, that some of the answers, like what you're saying to me when I'm listening to it, and I'm sure to a lot of our viewers, it's like so simple, right? But then a lot of us get caught in this trap. What is this trap that we get caught in?
That's again great question. Remember, whenever we are kind of progressing in life, through a tried and tested principle also like this, your trajectory is never going to be a straight line going up. It'll be like up and downs in between, but you're consistently going upwards. And that's where again the need of the right guide, the teacher, is so important. Who can help you to kind of come out through those small challenges, downward paths. And it happened recently with one of this person I'm working with currently, and if that person would be listening to this podcast, they would know I'm talking about that person only. It says, I don't have that same kind of, intensity, that desire of like achieving my goals. I think I'm lacking down. And by the time we finished our session, it was just a 45-minute session. That person was like up like this, yes, today onwards, I'm gonna go with full speed ahead again. So this is what I do, helping people. That's why I said it's so important to have a guide to help you through those challenges. And then once you learn how to kind of address those challenges, manage this, and overcome those challenges, then there comes a time when you don't need a guide. And then comes a time you become the guide for so many other people.
Mhm.
You become the beacon, you become the light. That's why to have stronger goals, powerful goals, and not one but multiple of them. Say for example, if I want to have one of my goals as that, today I'm struggling in my life, but I want not only to be successful, but I want to be so successful that I'm gonna be like a beacon, like a lighthouse to other people, and I will be a motivating factor in so many people's lives. That could be one of the goals. Some people working with me are doing that, creating that.
Oh, tremendous, tremendous. And you know what? Personally, I'll talk about my own goal-setting behavior before. It wasn't anywhere close to where it is now, and that's a lot to do with these tools of manifestation and attraction that Sanjeevji is talking about. And when he goes in depth about it, like remember, we're just scratching the surface, and this is an introductory step towards really showing you guys. Like I've been fortunate and blessed, as Sanjeevji would like to say. There's no fortune, we make our own. We're blessed with these tools. So all of you viewers, all of you listeners, whoever is listening to this, this is also a blessing to you. It is not something that it is something you've created and earned. These tools are that powerful. And I'm sure if you are all looking at law of attraction and the laws of energy, then you can understand and catch our drift in what we're trying to say here, and what Sanjeevji is trying to convey to all of you. Moving on to the next question, Sanjeevji. So Sanjeevji, given the psychological state of the world, right now, as we know it. We just went through this pandemic, and I feel like a lot of us have become, there's this fear, and there's this fear factor, there's this closedness, and like this, narrow focus in the world. Law of attraction and law of manifestation, principles and doctrines such as these, if we can call it that, would how do you think the world would receive this right now, Sanjeev, given their psychological state? And do you think that they would be open to the concept and to benefiting from it?
Yes, that's a good question, because again, if you look at from a different angle, a different perspective, that you talk about this whole world going through this pandemic and other challenges, a lot of people lost jobs. A lot of people spend this time in like fear, anxiety, what's going to happen next? Well, will I be able to keep my job? Will I be able to keep my business going or not? Again, it's an acquired belief system during this period. Because I know somebody who lost their job, I see another person who lost their job, I see two more people losing their job, and now it comes to me. What's going to happen to me in my job? But at the same time, is it not true that in this very period, people made successful businesses? I know so many of them.
It's true.
So it is the law of attraction. What am I going to attract in my life will depend upon what I'm looking at. If I am looking at failures, I'm attracting failures. Law of attraction is not something that it'll kind of turn magically, that I'm thinking and I'm looking at negativity, but I want to attract positivity. No, it's not going to happen that way. If I want positivity, then I have to start looking at the successful people. What is the percentage of people who lost their jobs or lost their businesses? What I say, 20%, 25%? No, that's a big number. But then is it not true that more than 75% of the people were either able to retain their jobs, or another number, pretty big one too, who started new businesses during this time and made a huge success out of it?
Yeah, that's happened.
So,
especially online.
So it all depends upon what these groups of people are attracting. There is no randomness. It's not that, this person just became very lucky, or that person just was at the right place at the right time. There's nothing known as being at the right place at the right time. I create the right place, I go there at the right time. That's what, because again, law of attraction is not about sitting idle. Law of attraction and law of manifestation is not about just dreaming about it. It's about, yes, dream big, but then stand up and take action. And the path that we work on, this process that we work on is so powerful, because it gives you the entire plan, the entire kind of blueprint of everything, that how to set your goals, how to change or burn your old belief systems, create new belief systems of success, using the powerful tools. So it provides it's like a package which has everything in it. And because I have worked with so many people, and they just call me, like I get calls like every day. Hey Sanjeev, this miracle happened, and today I had a session with this other person. Again, the person is listening would know who that person I'm mentioning is. That person is having some health challenges and got her test results back today. And this person was on cloud 9. Even this person's doctor and nurses couldn't believe the magic of the results coming. So much changes happening in such a short period of time of treatment. So it's again working towards doing that. It's not that I'm going to sit down here and think that, my life sucks, but I want to be happy and I want to be rich and I want to be successful. It's not going to work that way. This is a vessel. I will attract what I am already putting in this vessel. And as like one of my teachers said, Ali, and I never forget that, life gives you nothing. It just returns you what you put into it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, input equals output.
So law of manifestation, law of attraction is the same. What I am putting in this universe through this vessel, that's what the universe is going to multiply many times and give it back to you.
That's just beautiful, right? And a lot of us are just caught in this physical world, right? Like we're just caught into our physical problems. This what we are talking about here, really, essentially, and what you're really trying to convey. It's much more than what we can physically observe. Is this correct, Sanjeev?
Just because it's again our sense of perception, but we all know that it's scientifically proven fact today
Yeah.
that we are not physical. This physical entity is what we perceive as ourselves, but it's energy.
Right.
We all know that my physical part is microscopic. Like if I break my body, physical body, into the smallest solid measurement, which is an atom, I will need a microscopic box to fit all the atoms of my body. Then what is the rest of me? Energy. So, and again, Einstein's all these principles, the science, theory of relativity is just the same, because at a higher level, science and spirituality they merge.
Right, right, yeah. And that's what basically quantum theory and basically getting into like the microscopic and atomic realms are teaching us through science.
Yeah, and this process, that's what we do. We start managing the energies. And what is energy in a layman's term is like very simple, as my guru describes, is that emotion. What is emotion? It is emotion, means energy in motion is emotion. And through our emotions, through this energy, is what we attract and what we manifest.
Yeah.
So it's very, very simple. But unfortunately, simplest things are more difficult to understand and implement rather than difficult things. I'll give you an example. It's a very simple thing, and most people know that if you want to be healthy, get up in the morning, go for a walk, do some exercise. So simple.
Yeah.
But so difficult to implement.
Yeah.
How many people are actually able to do that?
Yeah.
So most of the important things like this law of manifestation attraction are simple but difficult to implement, and that is the again reason I emphasize that you need the right guide, the right tools to be able to make this successful. And once you have that, then there is nothing stopping you to manifest and attract anything that you want in your life.
That is a brilliant answer. And did I not tell you guys? Did I not tell you guys just how brilliant those answers are? They changed my life. I'm sure it's going to change some of yours. Sanjeev, thank you so much for those answers.
My pleasure.